Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is Search Buzz Video Recap. Today is Friday, August 17th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. First up, I did a lot of posts this week about the Google Medic update because a lot of people are still talking about it in the community, and I figured I'd sum up some of what's going on, what people are talking about. And a lot of people are talking about what can we do to, here's a fun title, not flatline, meaning not just sit around, do nothing, while our websites who may have been hit by this update are no longer ranking well in Google. What could we do? And I quoted some things that Google has said. Again, there's nothing really you could do except for make great content, remain focused on building great content. Over time, your content may rise, yada, yada. And basically, this upset a lot of people because I just quoted what Google said about making great content and not sitting around on your hands and doing nothing just because your website tanked. Maybe you should go ahead and build a better website. And that upset a lot of people. Our websites are great. Okay, so next day I did a poll saying, what are you doing to actually improve your website? There are some people that said they are making changes like pruning content. Pruning content with their website. So I go through, how pruning content works, removing bad content, and then I ask people to fill out a poll. What are you doing? Not nothing really what's working, but what do you plan on doing to recover from this? And here's the breakdown of what people are doing. And I'll probably sum this up a little bit later. We have close to 1,000 people who put information in here. But I'll probably sum this up in a few weeks once we get enough data around what people are doing to kind of recover from that. And the interesting thing is also a lot of people are actually looking at the Panda Advice. So Amit Zingal, who was the head of Google Search back in the day, in 2011 wrote a blog post about 23 things you should look at if your site was impacted by Google Panda. And a lot of it was around making great content, authoritative content, et cetera, et cetera. And Dan Scher went ahead and linked back to it and saying, hey, here is stuff from the Panda Advice that Google officially gave. Maybe we should relate this to the Google Medic update. And Gary from Google said, it's almost like we've been saying the same thing for the last decade. And of course, obviously, we don't know if any of this stuff is going to work and so forth, but people are trying everything and anything to go ahead and recover from it. And again, Google said the Google Medic update is not really official. They didn't name it the Google Medic update. We did. But basically, it's not specific to any specific industry. It's not just health. And again, we said that, but we also said that all the tools and all my data that I collected over 300 sites kind of skewed towards the health industry in terms of the impact it had was stronger on health, medical, fitness, etc., than it was in other industries. Of course, it did affect other industries significantly, but it just seemed to skew a little bit on the medical field. In any event, Danny Sullivan said it's a broad core update, which is all involving all searches, not just medical. And then John Mueller basically jokes around saying, do you need a medic? And it's good to see some humor from Google around this because sometimes Google doesn't like the names we choose for these updates. And then people are saying, hey, the Google Medic update made things worse pre-Panda days. And that's a real insult when you tell Google stuff. Your search results are as bad as they were before Panda. And Gary's like, all right, if you see that, Gary from Google said, if you see that, give examples of query location, bad result with explanation. And I'll forward it to the team. He did it for other people, he said. But note, oh my God, my competitor is ranking better than me now is not a good example. So if you want to go ahead and submit examples of how poor the Google results are after the Google Medic update, go to that tweet, reply to Google Gary, and show him real examples that he can take back to the team. All right, so moving on from Google Medic update, Google said that taking content, and this is obvious, it's not news, but taking content, old content, and relabeling it as new content is a bad SEO hack. And John Mueller basically, quoted this tweet. Let me just share it over here. Here's the tweet. As we are heading towards 2019, all title tags on December 31st will be changed to how to rank in 2019 or 100,000 ways to rank in 20. It's obviously a joke, but John Mueller took it and said, as a user, recognizing old content is just being relabeled as new completely kills any authority that I thought the author site had. Good content is not lazy content. SEO hacks don't make a site great. Give your content and users the respect they deserve. Again, this is just a joke, but the truth is this happens all the time. So definitely go ahead and take that to heart. Google said content position does not matter. And the truth is Google said the opposite not too long ago where it says content position does matter. Here's John Mueller saying it on Twitter. If it is useful content, we'll treat such content regardless where it is on the page. the way you write, that makes the way you whatever. Basically, he said it doesn't make a difference on position. But Gary Ilya said just a few months ago that content on the page, specifically mobile, does matter. Obviously, I think they're talking about two slightly different things. Google's John Mueller also said that basically said that if Google crawls less important pages, less popular pages less often, and key link to a crawl budget blog post Google did where it basically said popularity, basically said here, URLs that are more popular on the internet tend to be crawled more often to keep them fresher in our index. Again, this is a crawl thing, not a ranking thing, so don't confuse the two, but how does Google determine what's important, what's not? Obviously based on some probably ranking factors. Google seems to have fixed the problem where more and more video carousels are showing up in the search results. This was an issue because a lot of people are seeing their content in these video carousels, which if you're in position 3, probably not getting that many clicks on that. So a lot of people are saying, hey, it looks like Google has updated and they're no longer showing as many video carousels. And you can see even a Rank Ranger has their chart showing a significant drop from about 22% or so down to about, 11% of queries showing those video carousels, which is a good benefit to those who were upset that the videos were showing up in there. Google has officially launched expandable, I'm calling them expandable featured snippets. It's basically, we covered this in April where they were testing it, and now if you see featured snippets, sometimes those featured snippets will have additional features. So this is the main feature snippet on top, and then it says, all right, if you want information about this feature snippet around the cost of converting a garage into an office or whatever, you can click on that and it will expand, show you plans, etc. Additional feature snippets within a feature snippet. So they're kind of like expandable feature snippets, which expand the topic that you're looking for to more information. The beta version of the Google Search Console has added a verify sites, manage users, and mobile usability report. So you can see it over here. Actually, here's a GIF of it so you can actually see it. But basically, if you click on this little bar, there's an option for settings and also a mobile usability thing. So mobile usability is new in there, and settings is new, which you can actually go ahead and see who's verified, and also to go ahead and control user permissions and so forth. So that's all in the new beta version of the Google Search Console as they move and port more information over to the new Google Search Console from the old. Google has added troubleshooting section in the job posting structured data. So if you are using job postings, there's a whole new section around troubleshooting. If you have issues, definitely take a look at that. It's pretty useful. Google Search Console is sending out a new useful notification around HTTPS migrations. This one's pretty cool. So Alan Blue Eyes went ahead and shared this screenshot. You can see over here, the notification says, Google cannot find some pages after HTTPS migration. Google system identified that you recently migrated from HTTP to HTTPS. Approximately 80% of your HTTP pages that were indexed before migration can no longer be found in either your HTTP or HTTPS site. So this is a signal to you that Google's having problems finding old content that you migrated. Extremely useful, really good notification. Thank you, Google, for providing that to webmasters. Google said manual actions are not based on a single site link that is bad. So if you have one really bad link, Google's not going to go ahead and give you a manual action for one bad link. It's just not done. And so that's what John Mueller said. Sorry. Google doesn't always show the more results button in the mobile results. So I think a few months ago, Google released and said the next button will change into, this next button will change into a more results button. And we covered that significantly, but it's still showing up. And the times it shows up is when this knowledge panel has a sticky tabs. So this, as you scroll, stays, and when that happens, the next button remains from what I see. Google My Business has expanded their query pool. So it used to be just like branded searches would show in the Google My Business insights reports for your queries. Now Google is actually showing it for other things that trigger local intent, like when does the office open, stuff like that will and may show query data in the Google Business Insights. Just hopefully that's not too confusing. It could be a little confusing to understand, but basically you're going to get more data in your Google My Business Insights report than you were previously. Google Local Panels has added the Your Past Visits to it. We've seen this before in other areas, but now it's actually showing you in the Now it's actually showing you your past visits right in the local panel on the right-hand side, or on the top, depending if you're on mobile. Google member prices are showing up now for hotel prices. Now, Google just launched this past week Google One to most users. And if you are part of Google One, you will get special member pricing in hotel search results. So this was $116, as you can see there. And now it's $57 if you're part of the Google member or Google One program. Google Hotel location scores and tabs are now live. We covered this a few weeks ago where Google was testing a score assigned to a hotel property based on the location of that property. So this now it's actually live. So you get the overview score for that location of the hotel. And when you click on the location tab, it gives you more insight into the proximity to other things, proximity to transit, and how far away it is from the airport, all which make up the location score for a Google hotel listing. Just a heads up, this is your last chance. I'm not going to remind you again to go ahead and post a story of how Matt Cutts from Google, originally from Google, has helped you over the years. As you know, he had a terrible tragedy just several months ago, and we created a site, mattcutts.org, which basically posts one story per day based on what you guys submit to it. And Matt Cutts himself said the ongoing stories per day has helped him significantly. Reading stuff like this has been really helpful over the last few months. So if you have stories that you think Matt Cutts would be interested in terms of him helping you in any way, which way or form, go to mattcutts.org and submit it. We only have a few more weeks of stories, and then once it ends, it ends. And finally, another tragedy. It's been extremely horrible to have all these tragedies in our SEO industry, especially in the past year or so. We lost a SEO who kind of was instrumental and revolutionary and fundamental in the online reputation management, ORM, industry, Michael Stretcho. He passed away to certain issues, and I'm not going to go through those issues, but basically he left behind a young son, and there's a campaign here to help that son go to college and to school and to help the family. And those funds will be going to the grandparents to manage on behalf of the son. So go ahead and please contribute nicely and generously to that fund. And of course, we're sad to report of his loss. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is a Search Buzz video recap. The search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable over the past week at SERoundtable.com. Again, today is Friday, August 17th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.